But yes, this is old logo Jet swag. But
I do like that green, though. I got to tell you, I like the Army green.
Yeah, and I saw it this morning, and, actually last night. I lay out my clothes the night before.
You're a guy that lays out his clothes the night before?
I have to.
Al, do you lay out your clothes the night before?
I do not, but I could turn all my lights on.
Exactly, where I cannot.
So
I lay out the clothes.
Yeah, I mean, I can't.
but what are you laying out? You just, grab it out of a pile. It's a T-shirt and a pair of jeans.
Sure, okay, great. That wasn't the point of the conversation, but absolutely.
So anyway, what I do is, because Gina is sleeping and the girls are sleeping and there's a dog who gets up and it can be loud and wakes everybody up, I lay out the clothes in the bathroom and I close the bathroom door and I have the light on in there, and that's where I get dressed once I get out of the shower.
Right. I'll lay out some clothes sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Not a lot, but sometimes.
So I laid this out. I said, you know what? I'm going to support the Jets today because they need to win this game and they need to win it convincingly. And I do believe that they will. But I just wanted to support the Jets, and someone from the Jets organization who's a friend that you introduced me to, great guy, reached out and said, you got the old swag on. So we got to get you something new. So I'm not going to turn that down.
Yeah, of course not.
I'm not turning that down. I'll represent you want to give me some new Jet swag? I'll wear some new Jet swag.
But I will tell you that it is a time for the Jets to put the hammer down and knock off with the nonsense losing to the Patriots at home. Patriots have won 8 straight games against the Jets at home. Think about that for a second. Obviously, I think the Jets won last year up in New England, last game of the season. I think
that's right. Yep.
So, it's time now. This game is real. It means something for both teams. Gerard Mayo is playing a very careful type of football. It was interesting. Tiki and I were doing some football talk last night for some of the clients here of Odyssey.
Chalk talk?
Yeah, a little chalk talk, but we didn't have any chalk.
Oh, okay.
And Tiki brought up a very good point with the way that Gerard Mayo is playing, and it's really about winning football games first and foremost, as opposed to playing Drake May, the rookie quarterback. There's a couple of ways to think about it, and I didn't think about this the way that Tiki laid it out for me and for us last night. And he's right. When you're a new coach and you're taking over, especially when you're replacing one of the greatest coaches of all time, but you still understand the Patriot culture because you've been there, you played there as a player. You're 38 years old, you're young, you want to win. And he knows the best way to win a game, if you are the Patriots, is play great defense, as Phil Simms told us about on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But also play a careful brand of offense that is
Thanks
not going to
again, Chalky McChalkface.
Play a brand of offense that's not going to turn the football over. So they have a +2 turnover ratio. They don't turn the ball over. They run it a lot. And then I'm thinking, is C.J. Mosley playing tonight?
I would
He's
say.
He's a 50-50. Obviously, Jermaine Johnson is out.
Mm-hmm.
So, all these things kind of tell you that this game is going to be low scoring, and because of the way that they play defense and the difficulties that they have already presented the Bengals, and of course last week it was Seattle, but Seattle had 2 guys that went for big numbers at wide receiver. So the Jets, I think tonight, should be able to throw the ball effectively.
Yeah, I haven't talked to every Jet fan in my life about this game, but I do feel like they are very confident in beating this team tonight, and they should be. I don't think there's any old Patriot ghosts that are in their heads, because none of those guys are there anymore. It's a completely different team, a completely different situation. Aaron Rodgers is healthy. You got a win last week. I mean, this is just one of those. You're a 6.5 point favorite. I thought it would be maybe a little bit more than that, but I understand how these games have been close with the Patriots. But I mean, this is a turning point type of night. Beat this team at home. You never can do it. You're now the team that's expected to do something. They're not. They're rebuilding. Flip the script spot. That's what I say.
But I also like the explosion and the impact that Breece Hall is having. Now, a little bit overshadowed just by Braylon Allen coming on to the scene. But he still is the main guy. He is the main guy, and he's the guy that sets the tone for the team. That catch that he made last week in the end zone against Tennessee was beautiful. I mean, a running back going up like a wide receiver, making a touchdown catch like that.
And then the story behind it, too, where he said, hey, if I got a backer on me, throw it up there. And he did.
I mean, that is a terrific play. I mean, that when I think of what I want to say Saquon Barkley should be able to do, it's plays like that. And he is able to do that.
He did in Brazil, didn't he?
Yeah, he's able to make plays like that.
Yeah.
But remember, Breece wasn't a first-round draft choice. And, all of a sudden he's turned out to be this really terrific player for the Jets. You know, it's interesting when you do look at all these different stat packs that you get, and I'm always looking for Jets and Giants players to see if they are on the positive side of the stat packs. And one of the stat packs actually had Breece Hall as one of the top players with 90 or more yards from scrimmage since 2023. Christian McCaffrey is first on that list with 11 games in that category. The second guy on that list with 9 games is our two guys, Tyreek Hill and Breece Hall.
Yeah, that's why in a lot of fantasy drafts, Breece Hall was drafted as high as he was. I mean, everybody's been seeing his production. I do think, though, that the combination of him and Braylon Allen can be very scary. I mean, Braylon Allen coming on last week and the way that he did, he just looks different out there. He looks bigger, faster. He's so young, too. That guy, I mean, how many guys look like that? Seriously.
Especially with the number 0.
I mean, when I saw a little bit of him preseason, whatever, but like those runs last week, I was like, wow. He starts getting, as they say, going downhill. You know, try tackling that guy.
You know, if Aaron Rodgers has a running game like this, like he had in Green Bay, that this is when he becomes deadly because he doesn't have to throw the ball 35 times a game.
Yeah, exactly.
And the beauty about him being 40 years old is the guys around him, he's handing it off to a 20-year-old running back.
Yep.
And he's got Breece Hall's in his 3rd year. He's got Garrett Wilson in his third year.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these young guys that are around him, and he has a solid offensive line. I mean, he should be able to, pick apart everyone they're playing, and he should never put himself in jeopardy unless it's late in the game and you have to try to do something to win the game. That's the only time that I think he has to put himself in jeopardy. Other than that, he just has to rely on his experience, his arm strength, and his accuracy and his quick release. That's it.
All right, let's get some calls in. 888-808-1019. Let's go to Joe in Parsippany. What's going on, Joe?
Good morning, guys. Your optimism. I'm just driving. I'm almost at work. I want to run through a freaking wall right now, guys. I want to run through a wall. I'm so ready for this game tonight. We are not the same old Jets. And the reason I called in, I tried calling in you guys the other day, but I'm really fired up about this clip that keeps running about Tiki calling Jets fans lazy. Like that's not us. We're the ones. We are the harshest critics of our team when this team isn't doing what they're expected to do. And credit to your Vikings, Gio, because in week 2 they smoked the Niners. Like I was so impressed with that. But you know what? When we're not performing up to our standards, the Jets fans we're critiquing our team the hardest. We really are.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and I think that what Tiki was saying in that full clip, if you go back, is that a lot of people evaluating the Jets would lock on to one or two players and say that it was the most talented roster. If you looked a little deeper, maybe it wasn't. I disagreed with that. I do think there's a ton of talent there. Obviously, less talent when C.J. Mosley potentially out, Jermaine Johnson potentially out, Hassan Reddick not being signed. There are some issues there, but he was also talking about the wide receivers and saying that Garrett Wilson's the only one worth anything in that wide receiver room. So that you go back and listen to the whole clip and what he was saying. But yeah, I do agree that Jet fans are highly critical of their team.
100% they are.
Yeah. Right.
And I will say that nobody knows their fans. I mean, their team's better than the hardcore fans of those teams.
Yeah,
no matter what team it is.
Right.
And I just think that we are the biggest critics of our team. So, like, when the Rangers start playing hockey now, I'm going to know the team inside and out, and I'm going to know what I think needs to be done in order for them to get to the next level. And it's just natural that we are allowed to criticize our teams, and we're allowed to also believe that our team has the ability to go all the way if in fact we have the players. So when you take a look at the Jets, we just talked about 2 young running backs. We talked about a young wide receiver. We talked about a solid offensive line. We talk about a top-end corner. We talk about a top-end 2 linebackers with Quincy Williams and C.J. Mosley. We talk about Quinnen Williams and Jermaine Johnson before he got hurt. I mean, this
Will
team
McDonald had the best game of his life last week.
Exactly. So you have enough really good, solid players there to look at and say, yeah, they should be good, and they should win the far majority of their early season games just simply because of the quarterbacks they're playing and the mistakes that those guys are going to make.
Right. And the biggest thing, as we know, and we've said many, many times, a healthy Aaron Rodgers getting rid of the ball in the way that he is, coupled with a strong running game, should be something that keeps them in every single game they play. Let's go to Joe in Princeton. What's going on, Joe?
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, kind of on that same subject, as we get deeper into the season, I am a little bit concerned about the coaching here. I feel like everything they're doing on offense is just because they've been more talented than the other team. Like the Breece Hall touchdown on that go route, he just ran by that guy. That's not anything special. So I'm curious.
Oh, that's special. That is special. And let me tell you why it's special. Because as Gio told you, the story behind that play and the fact that you can go to a 40-year-old quarterback and say, hey, if I got this matchup, this is what I'm going to do. That doesn't happen with Zach Wilson. Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen with younger quarterbacks who are uncertain about what the hell they're doing. But when you do have a 40-year-old back there who's a bona fide Hall of Famer, then you know what? This is the kind of stuff that you want done. That's a great play.
Yeah, and that's something that Breece Hall probably learned from Aaron Rodgers as well in practicing with him, matchups and what you want to see and what you want to do in those situations. And they executed it perfectly. And, yeah, the backer did keep up with them, but Aaron Rodgers trusted that Breece Hall had a half a step on him, put the ball exactly where it needed to be, and Breece Hall caught it. This is great.
That is exactly what is supposed to be going on. And you heard Rob Saleh talk about Aaron's impact on everybody on the team, but most impactful is at the line of scrimmage, on the sideline, discussing things that are going on the field, and then reacting to them in real time. That's something that Hall of Fame quarterbacks do.
Jim's out in Pittsburgh. What's going on, Jim?
Good morning, guys. Thank you for taking my call. I watch your show. I like it a lot. Well, let me preface this. I'm 81 years old, so I've been watching football since Bobby Lane played for Detroit with no face mask.
Yeah.
So my question, I want to know, explain to this old man who moved from Louisiana to Pittsburgh, what is it with logistics? It caused Detroit not to go to the Super Bowl, and it caused Philadelphia to lose the other night.
It's not logistics, it's analytics.
Oh, excuse me. I knew it was something with it.
Yes. Ticks, yes, analytics.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to an old man.
I know, Jimmy, the game has changed.
All go for field goal.
I know, Jimmy, the game has changed significantly since the mid-2000s when the rules were changed to benefit the offense. And the offense, coaches, players, my buddy Chris Collinsworth explained this to me from his Pro Football Focus perspective, that the analytics have really shifted the way that coaches make decisions in games. And some of the younger coaches tend to be a little bit more aggressive, like Brandon Staley was very aggressive in San Diego. And he can say, to the media after the game, you know what? Look, we had a 52% chance of making it as opposed to a 48% chance of failing. So I'm going to go with the odds and I'm going to go with my players. Now, every game's a little bit different. All the variables, depending on who your quarterback is, what the situation is, you wonder whether or not, coaches, take that into account. And I'd like to think that they do. And I'll give you one prime example of when that happened and when a coach really, I would say, broke through with the media and made people realize that this was going to be the case. And it was a game between New England and Indianapolis in Indianapolis. New England goes for it on 4th and 2 on their side of the 50-yard line. They complete the pass. I believe it was to Wes Welker, and it was just short. And Peyton Manning gets the ball back on his side of the 50. They go right down the field. They score a touchdown. They win the game. And they asked Bill Belichick after the game, why did you go for it on 4th down and 2 on your side as opposed to punting it? And Bill Belichick said, were you watching the game? Did you realize that my defense couldn't stop Peyton Manning? Mm-hmm. Do you understand why I made that decision now?
Yeah, dumbass.
And basically the media got schooled because here's the greatest coach in the history of the league, basically telling you why his whole mindset has changed because of the quarterbacks that you're playing against and the rules that have been changed within the body of the game over the last 20 years.
Quickly, let's go to Anthony. He's calling from Staten Island. What's going on, Anthony?
Hey, what's up, guys? Boomer and Gio, big fan. We're actually out here. I'm with a big group of guys. We're from DSNY, Department of Sanitation. I just wanted to give a quick shout-out to the Boomer Esiason Foundation for Cystic Fibrosis. We always appreciate you sponsoring the event. We were just over at Park 3. You got a table set up. I was with Mike Hill. And, nothing but good things about you guys. We really appreciate everything that you guys bring to this outing. And we appreciate you coming out last year. It was awesome. You were throwing the football around with the guys. But we're having a great time. I just wanted to take some time and thank you for everything that you do for this for this foundation.
Oh,
here.
Anthony, thank you so much. I should be the one thanking you, not you thanking me. And we're all in this together. And the Department of Sanitation, we love you guys. You've been big supporters of ours for over 10 years now. Mike Hill from my office is there.
Yeah, and Mike Hill, by the way, Anthony, did you know Mike Hill ripped his scrotum open while he was on the 40-mile bike tour? He ran over one of the paraplegic bikers. Yeah.
Live right now, I got Mike Hill walking up the 6-hole par 3 at Dyker Beach Golf Course. He has a big smile on his face. He doesn't know that you just told me that he tore his scrotum, but I'm definitely going to let him know that you told me this. It's going to change a lot. Our conversation, our next conversation is going to have.
Yeah, tell him it's a great story,
yeah,
Anthony.
Wonderful story.
It's a great story to sit there and chop it up as you're waiting for the group in front of you to finish on the green. He ripped his scrotum open after he ran over a paraplegic biker at the 40-mile bike tour in New York City and finished the tour, finished the 40 miles.
No, he did. I mean,
with a torn apart scrotosac.
You got some set of stones bringing that up, given your own history at the bike tour.
What do you mean? I finished it twice.
You did finish it twice, but you got caught up in an accordion of bike riders that all fell on each other.
Yeah, not my fault.
So you're making fun of him tearing his scrotosac.
How am I making fun of him?
When you just
it's a story. It's a great story. You finished.
You had a German serious cyclist fall on you and screaming at you.
Yeah, and I got up and I finished just like Mike finished with a ripped up scrotum. So it's just both of us. And there's no adversity that we can't overcome in that 40-mile bike tour.
And you're not the only one, and Mike wasn't the only one from my office to get hurt. Grace has been working for the last couple of years for us. One of our handlebars going down, I think, the 59th Street Bridge.
Yeah, that's oof. Did she finish?
And she's an athlete.
Really?
Yeah, well, she finished. She scraped her knee. I'm like,
okay.
Come on.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, but I mean, listen, I am not making fun of Mike at all. It's a great story how he was able to finish that. He was taking pictures. He was out there.
I'll tell you, when I see the video of you, I think of the Tour de France.
Yeah, look at that. I'm like Floyd Landis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you had issues this past bike tour, though. You had a tire issue or something. You had some issues.
No, I had a cleat issue on the bottom of my shoe that clips into the pedal.
Yeah, there was something else though about the chain or something. Got caught on the chain. You had some issues. I was told you had some issues.
Well, it's 40 miles and I'm pumping it and I'm going 100. I'm really more than a tour for me. I mean, it's I'm 63 and I like to get it done in a certain amount of time and really actually compete.
Compete?
Yeah.
Wait, listen, man. I did it twice. It was very rewarding. And Mike felt the same way. Even when I had the German guy screaming at me, he had the ripped open scrotum.
And the paraplegic screaming at him.
Yeah, it was it was amazing. Hey, look at that. There's me and Sal Graziano just riding through Central Park. Look at that. A couple of Italians from Sayville getting it done. Taking over the world, and you with a light on for no reason. I don't understand.
That's the bike. The bike's light goes on automatically.
Is that Capone next to you?
No.
Looks like Capone, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. I think it is Capone.
Look at Capone.
A little meatball.
A calzone with legs.